Just a few hours ago, Mayor Wilson said she is beginning to deliver on her campaign promises of addressing homelessness and public transit.
Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson says she's taking a big step toward her promise of 1,000 new shelter units this year.
21 of them moved out of Seattle. Monday was the first day more than 2,300 Amazon workers were laid off. This week, Meta announced more than 300 of their own, and Reuters is reporting thousands more Amazon workers could be laid off, though not all in Seattle.
Right now, at this very moment, there are 2,700 empty, affordable apartments sitting in Seattle. Doors locked, lights off, units cleaned, ready, and vacant. And within miles of every single one of them, there are people sleeping on sidewalks, under bridges, and in doorways. 7,500 of them in King County alone. 2,700 empty affordable units, 7,500 people without a roof. Those two numbers exist in the same city. At the same time, under the watch of a mayor who just proposed the largest affordable housing budget in Seattle's history, and the question that nobody in City Hall is answering clearly is the only question that matters. If the units exist and the people exist, why are they not in the same place? Before we go any further, subscribe to the States Insider right now. Hit that like button. And here is your comment question. When a city has thousands of empty affordable apartments and thousands of people sleeping outside at the same time, is that a funding problem or a management problem? Drop your answer below. To understand how Seattle arrived at this specific paradox, you have to start with a single building and a single number that should have ended careers in City Hall the moment it became public. The Civic Hotel. Seattle leased it as a homeless shelter. A nonprofit was placed in charge of filling the rooms with people coming off the streets. The arrangement worked. Residents moved in. For a period, the building was doing exactly what it was designed to do. Then the city told the nonprofit to stop sending people. No explanation that has ever fully satisfied a public audit. No policy memo that justified the decision in terms anyone could defend. The city simply stopped filling the rooms, and the rooms sat empty. Month after month, rooms went unfilled while thousands of Seattleites remained outside. And here is the number that should be on the front page of every newspaper in Washington state. While those rooms sat empty, Seattle was paying $4,200 per month for each vacant room. $4,200 per empty room per month. In a city where 7,500 people had no shelter at all. That is not a budget failure. That is a management failure so complete it has its own price tag. Now here is the broader picture, because the Civic Hotel is not an isolated incident. It is a window into the structural dysfunction that has produced the paradox this city is living inside. As of the end of last year, nearly 11% of Seattle's affordable housing units were sitting empty. That is 2,700 apartments. The reason given by city officials is that vacant units are being cleaned and repaired for incoming tenants. That explanation addresses a portion of the vacancies. It does not address why. In a city with 7,500 unsheltered residents, the system for moving people from the street into those cleaned and repaired apartments is operating slowly enough that 11% of the portfolio is empty on any given day. Meanwhile, at the King County Regional Homelessness Authority, the agency specifically created to coordinate Seattle and King County's response to homelessness, the Partnership for Zero program, which was designed to eliminate unsheltered homelessness in 2 specific neighborhoods, has been shut down. And 38 staff members, representing 1/3 of the agency's entire workforce, have been laid off. Not downsized. 1/3. Gone. The agency built to solve the problem is laying off 1/3 of its people at the same moment the problem is getting worse. And into this environment, Mayor Katie Wilson has proposed a $349.5 million affordable housing budget, the largest in Seattle's history, including an $80 million anti-displacement fund and $11.5 million in rental aid. The numbers are real. The investment is real. And on paper, a $350 million commitment to affordable housing in a city of Seattle's size sounds like the beginning of a solution. But here is the question that number does not answer. Seattle has already been spending heavily on affordable housing for years. The previous administration built or identified nearly 2,000 units of supportive housing. Axios reviewed the data and found that the actual number of net new units, after removing replacements, relocations, and projects already underway before the mayor took office, was under 1,800. And even that count existed alongside a growing unsheltered population. Spending more money into a system with 11% vacancy rates and a homelessness agency losing 1/3 of its staff, is not a strategy. It is acceleration without a destination. Here is the angle that every piece of coverage on Seattle's housing crisis misses, and it is the one that connects every data point in this story into a single coherent picture. The affordable housing crisis in Seattle is not primarily a supply problem. Seattle has been building affordable units. It has been funding them at record levels. The units exist. The 2,700 empty apartments exist. The problem is the gap between the unit and the person. Getting a chronically homeless individual, often dealing with mental health conditions, substance use disorder, or both, into a stable housing unit and keeping them there requires more than a bed. It requires case management, on-site services, behavioral health support, and operational funding to keep the building running at the standard needed to hold tenants and maintain the environment. And that operational layer is exactly what has been underfunded, mismanaged, and in the case of the KCRHA, actively reduced through layoffs at the moment when it is most needed. Seattle is in 2026, paying $4,200 a month for empty shelter rooms, while cutting 1/3 of its homelessness agency staff, while proposing a record housing budget, while watching 7,500 people sleep outside, while downtown office occupancy sits at 30%, and condo prices have fallen 10%. Each of those facts is real. None of them are in conflict with each other. They are all symptoms of the same underlying condition. A city that has been throwing money at a structural problem without fixing the structural problem, already strained by 42,000 warn. And the structural problem is this. Seattle's Tax Base Act layoffs in the last 24 months and accelerating tech sector contraction is being asked to fund a record affordable housing budget at the same moment that the corporate anchors generating that tax base are reducing their footprint in the city. Amazon cut 3,633 workers in Seattle in 2025 alone. Total WARN Act filings across the region covered nearly 4,000 additional workers. Every layoff is a reduction in the income tax base, the sales tax base, and the spending that flows through the local economy. A city cannot simultaneously lose its highest earning residents and its largest employers while increasing its social service commitments and expect the math to work. At some point, the revenue side of that equation stops being able to fund the spending side, and Seattle is approaching that point faster than any budget proposal acknowledges. Here is what 2,700 empty units and 7,500 unsheltered people actually represent. When you look at them together honestly, they represent a system that has the physical infrastructure to shelter a significant portion of its homeless population and lacks the operational capacity, the case management staffing, and the policy execution to connect the two. That is not a solvable problem through a bigger budget announcement. It is solvable through operational accountability, through measuring what the money actually produces, not what it is projected to produce, through keeping the staff who are doing the case management work instead of laying off 1/3 of the regional homelessness agency, through not paying $4,200 a month for empty rooms in a city where thousands are sleeping outside. The record $350 million budget will be cited as evidence of commitment, and the commitment to spending is real. But spending and solving are not the same thing. Seattle has been proving that difference for years, and the gap between 2,700 empty units and 7,500 people sleeping outside is the clearest measure of exactly how wide that difference has become. Operational capacity, the case management staffing, and the policy execution to connect the two. That is not a solvable problem through a bigger budget announcement. It is solvable through operational accountability, through measuring what the money actually produces, not what it is projected to produce, through keeping the staff who are doing the case management work instead of laying off 1/3 of the regional homelessness agency, through not paying $4,200 a month for empty rooms in a city where thousands are sleeping outside. The record $350 million budget will be cited as evidence of commitment, and the commitment to spending is real. But spending and solving are not the same thing. Seattle has been proving that difference for years, and the gap between 2,700 empty units and 7,500 people sleeping outside is the clearest measure of exactly how wide that difference has become.